welcome to another episode of, I guess, me rambling about things I find interesting. I don't know what I'm going to call this series because it's not really part of the podcast or anything. It is going to grow into its own thing. So I hope you all will be along for the ride. Now, what am I talking about today? Well, there is a new video game for Baki the Grappler that's set to be released in Q3. Now, what is Baki the Grappler, a lot of you say? I've released a poll, and so far, a lot of you, I don't know if y'all don't know what Baki the Grappler is, but most of you so far at least said that you don't watch the show or read the manga. So I'm going to give y'all a quick little rundown of what Baki the Grappler is and why I'm kind of bringing it to the channel in a way. So Baki the Grappler is a manga created by Kisuke Itagaki. Oh, I said that right. Kisuke Itagaki. And it started way back in 1991. I know a lot of you are going to be triggered by me saying way back in 1991, but it started in 1991 and is still ongoing to this day. And it's currently one of the best-selling manga series of all time. It's sold over 100 million copies. Now, do know that it has sold over 100 million copies with, at least as of this recording, 191 collective volumes. Now, do know that it is on this list with 191 collective volumes. There's a few things above it that have significantly less volumes. Like, for example, Demon Slayer has 23 volumes, but has sold 150 million copies. Naruto has 72 volumes, has sold 250 million copies. So I say all that to say that it's no small feat that it's on this list, but you see how crazy the sales of manga get. Right under the sales of Baki is Fist of the North Star, and it has 27 volumes, but like 3 spots above Baki is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with 136 volumes, and that sold 120 million. Some other things on the list are Hajime no Ippo, which in my opinion is kind of similar to Baki. We'll get into what I think Baki is similar to in a minute, but Hajime no Ippo is on the list. And right under Hajime no Ippo is Jujutsu Kaisen. And all these are right next to each other. Baki, Fist of the North Star, Hajime no Ippo, Jujutsu Kaisen. And up under them is My Hero Academia. So a lot of stuff on this best-selling list are fairly new. So the fact that Baki can still stand on its own, although I guess it should since it's still currently running. Anyway, that's enough analytical talk. Now, the premise of Baki is very simple. He is a young boy training to be a powerful warrior, just like his father, Yujiro Hanma. And he becomes so powerful and so skilled that, he kind of basically outgrows normal training. So he starts doing like more extreme forms of training that, I can't say tournament. It's a tournament fighter manga. So, people are always looking on impressed like, oh my goodness, look at these feats of strength. So throughout the show, he faces tough adversary after tough adversary in like these underground fighting arenas with his main goal to be to finally defeat his father. Now that's a very, very abridged version of the story, but that's where we'll start off from there. Now, what people like about Baki is not necessarily the plot, because the plot, there's not a whole lot to it. It's more so how eccentric it is. And also the focus on the relationships that the characters have with each other, because they're very interesting. Another big talking point about Baki is the debate on whether or not it's homoerotic. And it's not even a situation where it's something like, if you know about He-Man, a lot of He-Man fans, straight He-Man fans from the 80s will argue with you that there's nothing homoerotic about He-Man at all, contrary to what literally everybody else thinks. I've noticed with the Baki fandom, they kind of lean into it because there's a lot of things that go on that you just can't deny, from stylistic choices, character designs. You just can't deny there's some type of homoerotic element to it. And you when you read and watch this series, you do sit there and debate whether or not this is intentional and, what is going on through the author's head. And the more you read his work, the more, at least for me, I kind of want to know more about him, because his first manga that he created was a manga called Make Upper, which is about a man who basically fixes people up by giving them makeup. And that is interesting because the way he would draw characters when makeup was applied, we see a lot of that applied to just a lot of the normal faces of the men in the Baki franchise. So that's something else that I find very fascinating, very interesting. There's a lot of layers to just the art design, the direction of the characters, the motivations within Baki that I think keeps people coming back beyond the very intense and interesting fight scenes. Now, you most likely have heard of Baki very recently if you have a Netflix account. The Netflix show Baki, with the sequel series Baki Hanma, have blown up a little bit in popularity, but what a lot of people don't know is that the show Baki is actually a sequel in of its own. You see, way back in 2001, the first 2 seasons of Baki the Grappler were produced, 24 episodes each. And these were dubbed into English, so you can find them and watch them if you don't want to watch subtitles. This earlier anime covers the first few story arcs of Grappler Baki, with the Netflix series basically picking up after that. So the Netflix series is technically season 3. So that's kind of the issue with some people. Like, they go and watch the Netflix series and, clearly, you missed something, but it gives you context clues and you can follow along just fine. Now, some of you are probably saying, well, hey, I've heard of the show. Where can I find the manga? So, as far as the manga, it was serialized here in the United States back in 2002, but the magazine that carried the manga, Raijin Comics, got disbanded, mainly because it couldn't compete with Shonen Jump. It came out right before Shonen Jump, and Shonen Jump just had the more popular titles. Raijin Comics did have some good stuff: Baki, City Hunter, Slam Dunk, Fist of the Blue Sky. But it also had some stuff that no one had ever heard of, or I've never heard of it even to this day. Bomber Girl, what on earth is that? Luckily, the second series of books, New Grappler Baki, has recently, in around 2018, 2019, had an official translation that you can get on Amazon.com. You can read it for free if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription or like Comixology account. The manga is also available for digital purpose on a new manga streaming website called Manga Mirai. If you do want to read one of the other Baki series, I think as of right now there are 6, but the 6th one's still running. I would say most, if not all of this, has been fan translated, so it's very easy to find. I will probably start a series of recapping the Baki manga, just because it's something I've always wanted to do. Along with He-Man, I want to do He-Man too, recap a lot of He-Man stuff. So where does that bring us right here with this game? Well, so Baki does not have a lot of video games, surprising, I know. While it is one of the most sold manga in Japan, it is only very, very recently gotten any type of traction worldwide with the Netflix show. And even then, I wouldn't say it's more popular than something like Jujutsu Kaisen or My Hero Academia or anything like that. I would probably put it either on the level or right under. Well, I would have to put it under Black Clover, because Black Clover's manga came out over here. You mainly see a lot of Baki memes with like a lot of fitness influencers. They'll post the iconic image of Baki cracking his neck, and they'll be trying to reimagine the image in the gym or something. But Baki doesn't have a lot of games. He had one on the PlayStation 2, which it was released in Europe, called Fighting Fury. In Japan, it was called Baki. In Europe, it was called Fighting Fury. It did not come to the United States. There was like maybe 1 or 2 mobile games that came out. And there were 2 other fighting games on PlayStation based on the series Garoden, which I believe 1 or 2 characters from Baki made a guest playable appearance in it. It was recently announced that the fourth manga series, Baki Do, is getting an anime adaptation. So I'm assuming that this game is being released to try to help raise funds for the production of that anime. So let's just take a look at it really quickly. Yeah, we're using clips from the show. Okay, this is very obviously Punch Out. Fight as Baki, like they're making it a big deal. Hey, you're about to play as Baki.
2D Fury. No rules, just blood.
Baki Hanma, Blood Arena.
Now that's very obviously a Punch Out clone. It's made by Purple Play, the people that made, oh my gosh, what they make. Purple Play made Thunder Ray, which is their version of Punch Out. And so this new Baki game is basically just Thunder Ray with a Baki skin on it, as you can see. Now, I will admit, Thunder Ray, the animations looked a lot smoother and honestly, just a lot more crisp than what we were seeing with the Baki game. However, I will say that obviously when you're working with people who own a property, they need to work their hardest to keep things on model as they see fit. So I'm sure if they were given the creative liberty to like draw the characters the way they wanted to, the characters would have looked a little more crisp for what they were doing. But to be completely honest, the way the animations look and the way everything looks, I think it works. I feel like it works as well as it could have. So I'm not just going to write this game off. It looks fine to me, to be honest. Like they obviously need to stay on model, and they are pretty much on model. A lot of people are saying it looks like a Newgrounds game. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, a lot of Newgrounds games look pretty good, but unfortunately, a lot of people are disappointed with the direction that they chose to go with this Baki game. But that begs the question, why won't they just make a normal arena fighter or tournament fighter with Baki? Well, it kind of goes back to popularity. Baki is just now gaining some type of international popularity with the Netflix series, but there are series already way more popular than Baki that either don't have games or have crappy games. I mean, I don't think Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, or Bleach have like one great game. Like I think they have games that are like decent, maybe. Well, I don't know about. I played a few My Hero games; those were not great. I know JoJo, which is very similar to Grappler Baki in a way, has had a few games and they have severely undersold. So and you saw the peak of JoJo's popularity when JoJo was at peak popularity. If they couldn't get a game to like sell to their expectations, they're going to be very cautious with Baki, which is why we're getting this. So to all you already Baki fans out there, I know y'all are probably watching this. I'm not saying buy this game if you don't want to play it, obviously, but I'm just saying I feel like to purchase this game would be to not only support the upcoming season coming out, but it would also let publishers know, oh, hey, this is a franchise we might need to be looking out for the IP for. People seem to want to play this. I'll definitely be picking it up. I'll be playing it. I don't know if I'm going to play it on stream or in like a video I post or whatever, but I'll definitely be picking it up. I like Punch Out and this looks fun and I like Baki. So it's a win-win-win for me. All right. So guys, let me know. Do you know about Baki? Do you watch Baki? Do you like it? Do you read it? Let me know what you think. And until next time, see ya.